Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Easily Pleased 23, and welcome to an easy review where I actually watched the movie Pixels. Yes, the one with Adam Sandler in it. And no, it is not a giant bag of shit that the so-called reviewers and things, the critics, I should say, have called it. It is not a flaming pile of shit. Now, of course, if you don't like Adam Sandler, you'll probably avoid this movie at all costs, considering people don't like him for some reason. I happen to like Adam Sandler, so of course I was going to give this movie a try. What are we doing? Okay, so the movie, of course, follows your basic Adam Sandler kind of formula where his life is kind of crappy, and then, things go well for him, and then everything, because he lost something, his life is shit, and then everything tends to get better for him. So that's always an Adam Sandler movie for this. So should you see this movie? I would say for an Adam Sandler fan, sure, you'll see this movie. If you like retro video games, that's not really the pull you're going to get here, considering there's some video game things in here, but the trailer, it pretty much showed you most of the parts that had to do with the big CGI things, like Centipede and Donkey Kong and Pacman. The Anthony Davis commercial. So either way, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the movie. Spoiler warning, because I'd rather just do it and have it all. And, sometimes it'll just come out anyway, spoiler-wise, or you just read the Wikipedia and it'll tell you everything that you really needed to know. Also, I don't know if, in the movie, they did have names, but I still called them Adam Sandler and Kevin James and things. So yes, they do have names, but if I refer to them as themselves, then of course it doesn't matter. Either way, the movie opens as we start in 1982. 1982 is probably the age of where Pacman, Donkey Kong, Centipede, the age of arcades, where it first started. We join Adam Sandler as he invites Kevin James to an arcade. They quickly snatch some little girls' lemonade coins for quarters for the machines, and they go off to the arcade. And here is where we find out that Adam Sandler is very, very good at games, because he's able to predict the patterns that the bosses and things are able to do. And we find out that Kevin James sucks ass at video games. Yes, sucks ass, but he kicks ass at the claw machine. Yeah, ha ha ha, poor Kevin. And then after this little quick intro, they jump to some kid is like, "Oh man, you need to try this tournament." So Adam joins. Of course, this is all based off the people who've scored really high, and they set records for Donkey Kong and all these things. That's what Peter Dinklage's guy is based off. His character is based off the Donkey Kong high score guy from around that time, I believe. Either way, that's Adam meets Josh Gad and Peter Dinklage's characters at the tournament. Josh Gad is probably the stereotypical nerd, where he is extremely awkward, cannot handle people, and boy, oh boy, he is a show to see. So his first intro is that his girlfriend is the video game. Yeah, that was like his love and all this stuff, and that goes on later on. So as things go on, Adam works his way up through the tournament, and he winds up matching his Peter Dinklage's character, the two younger versions. They battle, and Peter Dinklage wins, and Adam comes second. Then time jumps forward to 2015, or whatever the recent year is, where Adam Sandler's character, Sam Brandon, he just works for Best Buy, kind of. He's a nerd. That's Nerd. It's not an allegory. It's just like Best Buy. They have the Geek Squad. Well, that's what he is, basically. So while he's stuck installing televisions and stuff, his best friend, Kevin James, who was with him at the arcade at that time, is now President of the United States. Yes. Kevin James, President of the United States. I didn't really like that choice, but he's kind of rarely around in the movie, so I guess it's not really the thing. Also, in the trailer, where they show the part where Kevin James shoots the Smurf, and then he goes like, "Don't tell anybody I killed the Smurf." That's not in the movie. The rest of the scenes in the trailer sure were. So moving on, we see Adam Sandler, and he meets the woman. He meets this kid, and then there's always this, and he talks about retro video games and how he was good at them before, and the kid goes, like Halo, because yes, the kid is too young and he does not know what Pacman, Centipede, and all those are. Halo is retro for him. And then we meet his mother, Violet, who looks like a alcoholic, sad divorcee who's crying in her closet. And then later on, it jumps forward and we find out that she is actually a commander of the military. Yeah. And then, of course, she's going to be Adam Sandler's love interest because Adam Sandler always has to have to make out with a pretty lady. That is part of his contract. Let's see. After that, we have Kevin James. Well, actually, a military base in Guam is then attacked by Galaga, and somebody's taken. It's just like in video. The alien race is attacking, and they're taking our guys. We have 3 men. You know, like how you have extra lives in video games. Well, we have 3, and they take a black soldier guy. He is one of our first lives taken, you know, like in a video game. The military, of course, goes through all these things. And they're like, what the hell is happening? What is all this crap? And then Kevin James tries to get Adam's opinion on it. That Adam gives his opinion to a war council. They think he's full of shit. They kick him out. And then that's when we're introduced to adult Josh Gad, who was 1,000,000 times worse than his younger self, as he is trying to chloroform Adam Sandler. Like date rape. Yeah. So that almost happens. Yeah, he's really bad. He falls out of a car, too, at that scene. So after we get our little taste of Josh Gad in his future thing, as he has a VHS player, and he doesn't have cable or anything, he's able to catch the signals from the alien race that they're sending using old film from the 1980s. Like Hall & Oates was part of it, Madonna's part of it, and even the black soldier guy who got captured, he's like, Madonna's trying to kill us all. Why is this happening? Madonna's not really Madonna. And so, of course, they bring it up to Kevin James. Kevin James is like, man, you guys are full of shit. And they tell him that India's the next place we get attacked. They don't listen. India gets attacked, and then our second person is taken captive. This Indian guy who's out with his girlfriend or something. He tried to take a selfie of Galaga attacking the Taj Mahal, and he gets abducted. So after that, then they're like, okay, the video game shit is real. We're sorry, and they kind of just jump right into military training, and time skips. And of course, they have special technology designed so they can actually shoot the outer space weapons with like condensed light that shatters them. So it goes through a little bit of military things. They explain the situation. They go to I forgot where they went, but it was Centipede starts attacking this newest area, and Adam Sandler and Josh Gad are on. Oh, it's England. They're in England, and when Centipede attacks, and Josh Gad and Adam Sandler are on point when the military is attacking. And the military people, they're trained to play old school arcade games, and all these buff dudes are like not good at it, I guess, as Josh Gad slaps them all in the ass. So it goes to battling the giant centipede, and they aren't shooting the heads, and they aren't really good at all. That's when Adam Sandler decides that he is a badass because he's played video games all his life, and he's able to take these light guns and he's able to whoop ass. Josh Gad also has this ability because he just picks up guns and just starts shooting. Both of them do no-look shots. They do flips. Well, not flips, but, they just whoop ass. As Adam chases the centipede through England, and he just saves this kid from getting almost squashed. And after you defeat the aliens in their levels, you have to defeat them in 3 different levels. Well, after we defeated the first level, they give you a trophy every time you beat them. The trophy for beating Centipede was Duck Hunt Dog. Yes, Duck Hunt Dog. Everyone's favorite mascot they wish they could shoot in the face. So, and of course nobody knows Duck Hunt really exists because he goes and he stays with this old lady and is never seen again. Fast forward, more chemistry with Adam and the girl as he keeps showing that he's not just a nerd, he's pretty good at stuff. And she's starting to open up with him, and her son also happens to like Adam. So once things get rolling again, that's when we bump into. That's when they call on Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage's character is in jail because he was pulling scams his whole life to stay rich. He got busted for fraud a couple times, so he's in jail. And one of his demands for getting out of jail is a threesome with Martha Stewart and Serena Williams for some reason. Yeah, and then Kevin James is like, we'll just compromise and you can help us, and then I'll just pardon you. He's like, how about we just do Serena Williams then? And he takes it. And he has this weird kind of like asshole accent the whole time, and he wishes to be called the Flamethrower, I believe. The Flamethrower. He could have been the Firestarter, but I think he's the Flamethrower. So he's kind of a dick the whole time. As they're gonna go fight Pacman, just like in the commercial, where the creator of Pacman does appear, and Pacman's like ravaging the streets of New York, and he tries to pet him, and he gets bit, and you see in the commercial. That's when they use the three ghosts, the three Mini Coopers that are the colors of the ghosts and have the license plates that are the same names as their ghost colors, go chasing after Pacman. And of course, you learn little video game tidbits again where it's like, okay, the ghosts are never faster than Pacman because he's always quicker. But then for some reason, Peter Dinklage's character is able to actually catch Pacman because of super speed. And they don't explain that for a little bit, but it moves on. They wind up beating Pacman because of some really wacky driving, of course. They get through that, and the prize for beating Pacman is Qbert. Yeah, the little orange bouncer guy. Another retro video game guy that most people probably are not used to seeing. Unless you've seen Wreck-It Ralph, of course. But this time, they actually gave Qbert a voice. He doesn't go... Instead, he has a really high-pitched voice, and he's a female, I guess, because it's really high-pitched. And the kid takes an instant liking to Qbert. So they move on to... Let's see, what is their third trial? Because it's after they capture Qbert, it's... No, then they go on to... oh, yeah, they have this big-ass party like they're the shit. And then at the party, Peter Dinklage just has this thing with Serena Williams. It's not that funny, I guess, because he's like trying to hit on her. He's like, I will rock your world. And she's like, I will punch you through a wall. Yeah. So... and then after, because Dinklage crashes his Mini Cooper into the like London Lake or something, or the Hudson Bay. He crashed it. So the kid able to retrieve his sunglasses, and he finds out that Peter Dinklage has actually been cheating his whole life. That's how he beat Adam when he was actually in the tournament at the Donkey Kong game back when they were kids. So he is not as good as he thinks he is because he's been cheating his whole life. So Dinklage then disappears as the kid gets abducted by aliens, and that's when the big final alien rush is on the planet, where all like the Paperboy shows up. Super Mario can be seen at one point hopping around the area, all sorts of flying objects flying through, snatching up people and things, kind of like the lower def version of Jurassic Park, maybe Jurassic World. So things go wrong, and then it comes down to like, oh no, that giant thing's gonna hit us, and Kevin James finally jumps into action and he uses the crane to grab him. He goes, I'm badass at the crane game, guys. That's right. And then he winds up going up to the ship with Adam Sandler and Violet. I think I don't know her real name right now. So he goes up there with them, and then Josh Gad stays on the floor, stays on the ground level in the streets to help the people. He then meets the samurai girl that he's always fallen in love with, and for some reason, everyone else is pixelized except her. She's an actual real person that's slightly pixelated, maybe. So, and then he gets to, like, after he says, okay, go ahead and kill me, then he gets to live out his dream of making out with his dream girl. Peter Dinklage is just stunned as he shows up, and he's like, I'm going to show that I have never cheated, that I don't need to cheat anymore to win at life. But I'm still the best guy ever. Yeah. So... on the ship, of course Sandler goes through all this stuff as they beat Donkey Kong, as he throws the hammer, not just jumps on. No, he takes one of the hammers and he throws it because they tell him that Peter Dinklage cheated and he is the best video game player in the world. It's like, yeah, Adam, yes. So then they save all the people. It's a giant win, and then it's like, okay, the nerds will take over because they are really good. So. And then at the end, they had this funny part where Martha Stewart and Serena Williams were in the White House, and Serena texted Peter Dinklage, so she's like, "Come up here and get some of this," and he's like, "Oh yeah." So, the movie as a whole, it's not great, but it's still pretty good. I had a couple laughs and things and all this. Of course, you get your whole Adam Sandler gets to make out with a hot girl thing because I think that's in his contract. Out of 5, I'll probably give the movie a 3. Just because of what happened with Kevin James. Because, like I said, I can't really see him as the president. And, like, he was barely around. Because he was a pretty big feature in the commercials, too. So that was another lie. It was like he was supposed to be around. Now, he was kind of around. Also, at one point, he was like, instead of guiding the free world, he was making a cake with his girlfriend. So he was more into getting cake and pussy instead of saving the world. So yeah, and I was a little disappointed that I didn't see too many of Adam Sandler's friends in here like I usually do with all his other movies. So again, the movie is not horrible, but it's good. Again, you gotta like Adam Sandler to like the movie, really. And also, if you do have some prior knowledge of retro video games, then of course then you'll probably understand better things. I know the one good thing about this movie, when I was watching with my dad and things, he could, for the people who actually were alive during 1982 and all that stuff. He's like, yep, I remember all that stuff. Of course, he was a man. It's pretty cool. If anything, it's probably a good talking point to have with like your parents and things, or your parents actually tell you what Pacman is. If you're too young to know what Pacman or Space Invaders or Galaga is. If so, I feel sad for you, and you need to go and be on the internet and find these games, because they are needed to be played. Okay, so that was an easy review. Thank you for listening, and yeah, Pixels was alright. It wasn't a piece of shit. Alright, like, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter. Say hello. What other movies you want me to watch and review? Yeah, I'll see you then.